Often do we answer the phone and it's Spirit calling, you know? We're answering that call already, and to know that there's that presence of that person on the other end of the line, and that we truly are one, but we're not separate, but that we're connected. And we're absolutely connected is this grace, this power, this love, this joy that's in everyday life. So I know that we're already in service to something. We're already in service, in essence, to our higher self, to that place of love, to that place of the infinite wisdom and that guidance and inspiration, and to be in celebration of that inspiration. I know that there is life that is a spiritual journey, so being in the spiritual journey, knowing that giving feels good, it feels great. And to be with the practitioners, there were 8 people who were paneled and licensed yesterday, and to be in celebration with our community and all the communities throughout New Mexico, to be in celebration and to have the high watch happening, even if the people weren't present, they were present. They were contented in themselves to be supported. They were satisfied. All of our community members were satisfied and fulfilled in order to provide that energy and to know that they are being lifted up in this moment and being of service to the divine, being of service and knowing that there is that spiritual deservingness and that which desires to serve, which is already inherent within us. So intuition oftentimes influences our choices. As I was in conversation with the candidates yesterday, knowing that their intuition was absolutely, their attention being riveted on Spirit, single-focused, to know that there was that divine wisdom that was flowing through them as the love intelligence, to know that the generosity of their heart was evolving in that moment, in that conversation, because they were already connected, and grace being so real, it is so real, and enters into our everyday life and carries that forward. And to know that we're never alone, that they truly were supported in the conversation. And it was delightful to hear some of the experiences that they brought with them. It's like they showed up with all their gifts. They showed up with all their capabilities, all their talents. And it was just this free-flowing good. It was that goodwill that we all have. And to know that everything that they said, everything that they thought, everything that they were feeling was so appropriate, because it matters. It matters. And as we take that into our daily life, everything that we think, everything that we say, and everything that we do matters. It makes a difference. So we bring that value with us, absolutely, in that compassion and connection and being of whatever practical use that we're in. So in essence, it's not about the task. I was at the Gourmets for God event, the ice cream social last night, still kind of flying high with the sugar, flying high from the conversation, flying high with the connection and the belonging that took place in our soul and our heart connections, and just sitting around and being on that same wavelength. And as I watched Margaret Taylor, who was the culinary artist, along with Jane Mormon, who had prepared these wonderful, delectable things, there was such a variety. And as I looked at Margaret preparing the most delectable feast of ice cream I've ever had, she did it with such consciousness. And I think that's what seva and selfless service is about, is bringing our awareness to whatever it was, laying out of the berries, laying out of the chocolate, the coconut, all of these wonderful ingredients that we can include that are delicious and yummy in our life. And so it wasn't just about getting the task done. It was about her, Margaret, bringing her awareness, bringing her consciousness to that preparation. And we do that with our divinity in our daily life. We have that preparation. We have that consciousness, that awareness, that place of connection and power that we bring to whatever the activity is. So we awaken divinity in the task. No matter what, we awaken the divinity in the task. As we walk in this place and have that conversation, much like we have the conversations with God that took place last night at that social event, as the conversations that take place at this center, it's not about a God that is a deity that is separate, or it's not about whatever that traditional look or traditional glance of that deity might be. And so I have to come up with other names for God. I come up with synonyms for God. I come up with the infinite presence. I come up with the thing itself, the ultimate stuff. I come up with the whole, the creation, the ultimate stuff, first cause, invisible essence, the power back of creation. And to have that be about what I think and say and do, that's the awareness that Margaret brought to that preparation of her culinary artistry. So it wasn't just about getting that ice cream served, and it was sweet. The conversation was sweet, the ice cream itself was sweet. So there was grace, there was oneness, there was love, and much like Tilia said, it's not just what we do, but it's the love that we put into it. So we have that love, and as Rumi says, as we awaken to that divinity in our task, we come to wherever we arrive, right? No matter what, in everything we do matters, and we bring value. So as we bring value, those synonyms for spirit, that there's not some guy in the sky, that we have, in essence, being of service to the world, we can look at whatever task is at hand and know that we can come again to it with a different awareness. We can come again to it with a different noticing about that, and up-level, in essence, and lift up in that awareness, no matter what the situation is. So Rumi invites us to come again, to take another look, to take a second glance. So we can take a second glance, and he says, "Come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come yet again, come." So if we look at activities and tasks that we've had to do perhaps 1,000 times, we can come and bring a new awareness to it, and be optimistic about the freshness that's in those activities and those tasks. We have a poet amongst us too who is Lorraine Wozniak, and she also invites us to take a gentle look, a gentle touch, a kindly greeting that means so much, a word of praise unexpected. These are the simple things that we don't expect to see and are always free. So to look at whatever that mundane task might be, or that new task that we might have some intrepidation about, or if we may have some fear, doubt, and worry about whatever that is, as we move into that new area, we can have a new look on it, and to know that we can extend those kindnesses. And one of the most vital truths that I know, is that the vital truth is that I've learned to be kind. And I took a cab ride in France. And I said, "Thank you, sir." I know, I've been in many cab rides, and then this one was kind of like the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, an e-ticket, as it were. And I've had similar experiences around the world with various cab rides. And I gave him the courtesy. After this roller coaster ride, I said, "Whew, thank you, sir." And I don't know if I really meant thank you for getting me to my destination, but I really did. I really sincerely said thank you. Thank you for your service that you're providing. Thank you. I value you. I honor your time. And he leapt up, and he went around from the driver's seat, and he went around and he opened my door. And he escorted me up to the curb. And I said, "Wow, that wasn't necessary, but thank you. And he says, "No one in this country has ever called me sir." And it opened my heart, because I was giving the respect from just what I knew, to respect his value, to know that he too was a divine being, and no matter what service he was providing, he was the divine being. And so to notice those commonalities, and that really the things that I've learned, one of the most valuable attributes is to be kind, to honor our connection, to honor our compassion, So much like in the conversations yesterday, just opening up with that optimistic type of frame where we had these oral panels where these people, after 4 years of study, these wonderful beings of light, sit in front of a minister and 2 other practitioners and have a conversation to, in essence, honor the value and the gifts and the strengths that they bring. And so in essence, to set the tone for that conversation to take place and to be successful. And to notice the awareness in that conversation. So kindness becomes a pillar upon which we can build these strengths. Kindness becomes this place where we can, in essence, have this legacy to pass on to others, this legacy of kindness. And it's much like the Tao Te Ching says, is we do the great while it's still small. Some of those words like sir may seem small, like a small kindness, but it makes a huge difference. It could make a huge difference in the way that cab driver treated the people for the rest of his life. And the philosopher and social activist Martin Buber says that the things that happen day after day, these contain my essential task. So as I have these essential tasks that I'm, in essence, we've heard the phrase, up to the task. We're up to the task in our awareness. We're up to the task in this noticing. We're up to the task because we bring all of the resources of the universe, all of that source energy that's available. We bring that with us because that is who we are. Those synonyms for God, the creator of the universe. We bring the energy of the cosmos that created the universe. And we bring that to our peace of mind. We bring that to our health. We bring that to our wealth. And it's much like dollar cost averaging. If we're doing something consistently, constantly, no matter what the market is, no matter what the environment or the atmosphere is, we have that commitment and to have that investment. So no matter what that value is, we've made a conscious decision to have it be most beneficial, because what dollar cost averaging, just as an example of our energy moving forward, is we have it placed no matter what that market is, and it's something that's continuous in an investment in our good, in that abundant life that we have. So no matter what the value of whatever we are flowing that energy into, no matter what that value, it has a more beneficial outcome. But we're not necessarily focused on that outcome over here, but it's more about that consistency of that awareness that we bring to it. We've made that conscious decision for that automatic withdrawal for whatever that is, that automatic deposit, I guess. So we're automatically depositing that energy in our meditation, in our visioning practice, in our affirmative prayers. And seva, which is a Sanskrit word for service, it's like, well, why don't you just use the word volunteering? There's a subtle difference, because there's the consciousness that we bring to that selfless service, that consciousness, that art that Margaret Taylor had in making those preparations. It's that piece of artwork. It's that watercolor that we paint. It's the music that we share. It's the conversations that we have. So we're doing those great things, even though they may seem small. But it adds up. It adds up, and then there's a beneficial outcome. So as we stay engaged with our heart, we know that every day we're called to have courage. Every day we're called to bring grace into everyday life. And to come from this vantage point, from this higher altitude, from this high attitude that has the consciousness and the connection and that sense of belonging that happened in that ice cream social, that conversation and belonging and connection and sharing of the good, we know that it was multiplied thousandfold. I got a big take home, not only just the sugar, but I couldn't go to sleep. I was just on fire from the conversations that happened. And that's what happens here too. We have wonderful things that are happening, and we bring that with us, and that energy of being refreshed and renewed just flows. And as the Buddha teaches, that the happiness is that accumulation of good. So as we have that thousandfold good, whether it comes from that focus on that dollar cost averaging, from that focus on that artistry, whatever that is, we have our heart engaged in this activity of spirit. So we know that that is an amazing place, that we have this journey. In essence, we have this journey into ourself. And so, much like in literature, Ulysses had many forms. He appeared into the world in rags, and he represented, in essence, a God that could be found in everywhere and in every situation. So to get beyond whatever bias that happened, there's a recognizing of that divinity that's in every being. So no matter if we're in a place in our soul level of feeling like we have rags or riches, or we were desiring to be more in a lavish and a lush place in our heart, to flourish and to thrive, we can appear up and show up and let that recognition of our connection show up as us. And it's much like Shiva, who had many, many aspects. Shiva was a god, and she had many aspects of her life. And so what she would do is she would show up and illustrate the power of generosity and goodness. And she would show up as many colors of whatever shades that is. And when I would travel with the Lacandon Maya, they would honor, in essence, they had these god pots, and we'd be in ceremony with them, and they would honor, each of them had an attribute. Unlike the Hindu religion that has millions of those aspects, we can draw from world spirituality that there were so many aspects of those synonyms for spirit. Synonyms for spirit being the creator, being the lover, being the peaceful place, that peaceful and joyfulness that shows up. So to be in ceremony with ourselves and to honor ourselves and to honor having journeyed 4 years as becoming a practitioner and honoring that education and bringing all of those talents, bringing all of those skills, all of those capabilities, having a new sense of deserving. So I know that the divinity is absolutely within us, and we can bring that forward to our daily lives, channeling everyday grace and oneness and connection. There's a tool called visioning. So in our visioning, there is a place where we can apply it to every aspect of our life. Sometimes we can move into a meditation, and if we're already having a silent moment, whether that's a 3-minute cup of tea, whether that's a moment with a friend, having a kind word, much like the cab driver, we can have a designated place and practice and envision what the divine ideal is for our life. So we have a whole field of practitioners who know about this visioning, and feel free to, at your 1-minute miracle after service, feel free to engage them in a conversation about their vision, their practice, their prayerfulness, their meditation, whatever that practice is, and to optimize and sensitize that area of our life, and to have that connection and awareness come forward even more, to know that as we're reaching out in that giving naturalness, it's natural to our nature. It's that inclination, it's being that place of the divine already, no matter what the activity is. We have this tool called visioning. And we know that there's that sense of oneness and wholeness that continues to be awakened in our hearts. So we have this place of oneness. And we know that as Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of the Science of Mind, which is a guide for spiritual living, we have this amazing giving which feels good. It is that spirit which desires to serve, and it desires to serve through us as we listen, as we reflect, as we resonate with whatever that reflection is, as we take time to notice what's in our world and then to reach out. We as a community are going to be having some community outreach programs in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. So we'll have a couple organizations that we will be in service to in essence, not be in the doing of it, but to be in the love of it, to have that love just spilled out and overflowing in our lives. And to serve as that example as we take that into our everyday life, we're serving as that example. And that shows up absolutely as the depth of the heart, that knowing that grace is real, knowing that we're always connected to the One, and that everything that we think and say and do matters.